Well, it's finally here. This is a 2025 CF Moto Ibex 450, and it really aims to be the best option in the 450 class if you're looking for an adventure bike. It's been a long wait. I actually ordered these bikes about a year ago. They started showing up about a month ago, but now we're finally starting to see some snow melt up in our area, so I was able to get a few miles on this thing. Let me tell you all about it. So first off, I'd like to thank Zaco Power Sports for allowing me to do this. This is their product. This is not my bike. This is nothing that I own, but the dealership allows me to do this for purpose of review, so thank you. Earlier last spring, I was able to take out a Himalayan 450. That was actually one of the rep demo bikes and put a few miles on it. Now, it's been a while since I rode that bike, but from what I can remember, I can tell you that I actually prefer the feeling of this bike over that Himalayan. A lot of it has to do with this engine. This 450 twin I've loved ever since it came out in the 450 SS. I recently took out a CLC 450 and saw what the cruiser version was all about. And now here's this engine again in an adventure bike, and it is right at home. It has short gearing, so you always have power. I notice even at 60 miles an hour, you're cruising at about 5,500 or so RPM, and you don't have to downshift. You just throttle on and it accelerates right through it. It has a nice torque curve. Has plenty of horsepower for what this bike is. I mean, it's not a rocket. There's other adventure bikes that are faster than this, but for the size of bike and for the segment that it's playing in, the power on this is excellent. Suspension is very good as well. I haven't done anything crazy off-road with it. Right now it's a little treacherous with the snow and the amount of water that's in the ground. So hopefully later we'll be able to do that. But the little bit of stuff that I've done, and with the crappy roads that we have right after winter time, the suspension soaks up all the bumps really well. The bike handles really nice. It has a really good neutral feel. It likes to lay down into corners. The tires these come with right from the factory, I'd say for most people, this is all you need to go off-roading for what you're going to do. And they still have really good street grip and everything. So it's a really good bike out of the box. Another really cool feature that you're getting without spending any extra money is a tubeless wheel setup. So this is a spoked wheel, but they are tubeless tires. They have a really nice design. It works. It's Royal Enfield. You do have to pay more for it. However, that bike, the tubeless version of the Royal Enfield, still comes in a few $100s less than what this version, than what the CF Moto does. So if you're looking for that, if you really like that Royal Enfield, it does still have the price point of it down. I just think overall, and again, this is me going off of memory, this has a little bit more polished feel to it. This bike, it just fits, seating position on it, and this is adjustable seat. You have a little bit less than an inch of adjustability. You can raise or lower the seat, but for me, the seating position is perfect. I have excellent reach to the handlebars. My feet fall in a really good natural spot. Just a really nice feel overall. The one thing on this bike particular, I will say, the shifter does need to be adjusted down a little bit. It is a little bit too high. That's a simple, easy thing to fix. The other thing is I've noticed a little bit of extra play in the throttle. That's something else that could be taken out with just some adjustments. But the bike overall, I mean, has an excellent TFT display. CF Moto has really perfected that the last couple of years. Easy to control, buttons to get through the menus and everything. There's a lot of things they're doing right. You got buttons that make sense in the adventure world, like the ABS on and off, which it will kill your ABS without having to go through all the menus of the screen. You can also kill it in the menus, but if you want to flip it off real quick because you're going to be going off-road all of a sudden, you don't have to go and fumble through the screen. And when I say fumble, the screen's actually pretty easy to navigate, so don't let that confuse you. Adjustable windshield. This windshield adjusts very easily. Just with one hand, it's super simple to get it up and down. You got about 1.5 inches or so of variation you can have in that windshield setting. But overall, this is a really, really nice bike. 44 horsepower, 32 foot-pounds of torque. You know, again, it's not a speed demon, but for the mid-size class that it's running in, this is a really nice engine. Has all the power you need. You can do the highway stuff, and it still feels nice and light when you have it. The little bit of off-road that I've done with it, which has been very little. I'd like to see what this thing does once we dry up around here. So talking about all that stuff is really nice, but let's show you what this is actually like out on the road. So unfortunately, while recording this, I had a little bit of technical difficulties, had some issues with my GoPro, and I'm not quite fully versed with my Insta360 yet. I think it's a really cool camera and I can get some neat angles, but it's going to take some practice before I get the hang of it. All that being said, I was impressed with how the Ibex fit me. Again, the seating position was nearly perfect. It felt nimble and confidence-inspiring in the corners. I can imagine that this will translate well once it goes off-road. Hopefully I have that opportunity later this spring. CF Moto really has a hit on their hands with this one. The controls feel nice and appear to be high quality. The display is easy to navigate and see. That is one thing I thought the Himalayan could have done better with. The gauge on that is very plain and not as intuitive. I never did get the Ibex on the highway, but I did have it up to 70 miles an hour. It felt planted, and it didn't seem like I was asking too much out of the engine at that speed. I suspect it would do just fine on the highway. If I could ask for one thing, it would be cruise control. I have carpal tunnel in my right hand, and cruise is almost a must for any bike I own. Besides that, I really don't have any complaints about it. Now, I know if you're used to watching my videos, there's quite a bit more ride time on them, but like I said, I had a little bit of camera difficulty, so we're going to cut the test ride short this time around. Well, there you have it, the 2025 CF Moto Ibex 450. This is an excellent bike. I think that they are going to sell like hotcakes this year now that we finally have them in the US. This bike's been out for over a year in other parts of the world, and I'm glad that we finally got it, and finally got an opportunity to take it for a ride. So maybe later on this year I'll be able to take one and actually do some off-roading with it. We'll have to see what's available. You know, CF Moto, if you want to send one my way just to let me use it for a couple weeks, I'd gladly take you up on that. It'd be cool to actually put one through its paces and bring some people along with to see what this bike is capable of. But I like this thing. It fits me perfectly. This engine is awesome. I think that the bike overall just feels really good. There's no better way to explain it other than when you're just sitting there and nothing feels out of place. Everything just feels good, and that is what the sensation that I get when I ride this thing. It's just, I feel at home. So that's really, from my point of view, probably the biggest compliment you can give a motorcycle is it just feels like home right away. So that's where I'm at on the CF Moto. If you have any questions about anything that you saw in the video, please leave me a comment below. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate the help in growing the channel. We've just recently hit over 1,000 subscribers, so thank you all that have been with me for the last, really the last year. I mean, the channel's old, but so I got some older subscribers that are probably like, where's all the three-wheeler stuff? But the last year we've done some changes, and I really appreciate everyone that's joined me, and I look forward for you guys sticking with me through 2025 because we got some really cool stuff coming. So as always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to enjoy the ride.